Welcome to the Real Girls of Gabbing, the podcast where two best friends rewatch and analyze your favorite Bravo TV shows. Join us while we make each other laugh, rant about Bravo drama, and go off on tangents about everything under the sun. Buckle up and get ready for a good old-fashioned gab sesh with the girls. Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Selma.
And welcome back to the Real Girls of Gabbing. Such a big one for us. It's the last episode of season 1. We have really been putting in the hours to try and like crank these all out for y'all. So yeah, I'm excited that we've like made it through the first season.
I know, our first season as podcast hosts.
I know.
So exciting.
This was like a very short season. I looked at like the next season, it's like 17 episodes. So
wow.
Yeah. So and like this season's 10 episodes, and 2 are reunion and 2 are like just one's the secrets revealed, one's a director's cut of the dinner of the dinner scene. So or last week's episode. So yeah. We'll have like a lot more content in the next few seasons. But yeah, it was a very like janky episode. But I think that I think I've made it like tried to make it as clear as possible to communicate these 2 reunion episodes to you guys. It was definitely tough.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah. I was wondering if you had any updates or reality TV stuff you wanted to chat about a little bit before we get into things.
Obviously, Love Island has started, and obviously we are avid watchers. I also am like almost caught up on Next Gen NYC.
I haven't watched it at all yet.
It's like kind of painful.
I've heard meh.
Yeah, it's painful to get through.
Yeah.
And what else am I watching? I watched Miami premiere.
Okay, I haven't watched that yet. What did I just have you been watching Love Hotel at all?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god, I love it. So it's like a dating show, but like
it's
the housewives.
Bravo. Yeah.
So it's Countess Luann, Shannon Bedore, Giselle Bryant, and Ashley Darby. Oh my god, it's so fun. It's like having the Countess back on my screen just like makes me so happy because she's such a man-eater. And she's just so ridiculous and I love it so much. Shannon Bedore is like just as frazzled as and always. Just like ill-equipped to deal with emotions. And then Ashley's like crazy. She has like 2 types. It's like old man or like young guy. And she like doesn't know how to, she's like, I know I have daddy issues, and she like doesn't know how to pick like what's right for her. So she's just macking with everybody, which I love.
Who are the guys on the show?
They're just like randoms.
Like regular people?
Yeah, like fathers. Like divorced dads. Like that's like most. I mean, there's like some younger guys because Ashley's in her 30s. So like they do have like some guys like in their 30s. But for the most part, they're like 50-year-old men.
Interesting.
And looking for their side. Yeah. And Giselle, I think Giselle's just not built. Like she's great, but she's just, this isn't her. She's a slow burner, and this like doesn't really allow for slow burning. Yeah. So she's been struggling, I think, at finding like a connection, but she's enjoying herself just as like a people watching.
How many episodes are out?
I want to say like 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
really just
good.
Announced the Traitors cast, and Dorinda's gonna be back. Lisa Rinna's on it.
I saw
Rob from last season of Love Island is on it.
Oh my god, he is?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Who else? Oh, Caroline Stanberry's on it. Like there's a lot of good housewives on it.
I feel like oh my god, who's like really dumb that I saw that's on it? Someone who's like just really not gonna get it.
I don't know.
There was someone that I saw, I was like, oh, you're just like gonna really struggle with the rules here. Like the same way that Chanel was like, like this, she's not built for this. Like
it's interesting that they brought Dorinda back because she got voted off like 2nd episode last season. So I'm curious as to why she's back. But I'm really excited for that. And then not reality TV, but I've been watching
I
couples
feel like
therapy.
Portia's on it. Portia's on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like Portia, it's just not going to click for her.
The housewives just go in and are automatically targeted because they always think that they're working together. So, like, it's cool that we see our housewives on there, but it's also like they're just so vulnerable.
They're not built for
immediately.
it.
Yeah.
I kind of like, Lisa Rinna was terrible at the end of her like time on Beverly Hills, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're like, after watching the last couple seasons of Beverly Hills, I'm like, oh God, like I'm nostalgic for old Lisa Rinna, you know?
I know.
So like maybe she'll be good.
Or we haven't seen it. There's no Beverly Hills trailer out, right? Just Orange County.
No, there's Orange County, Miami. That's obviously, I just can't wait for. I need to watch Miami, and I like it was just so good last season. It was so good.
Yeah. This season, Atlanta, I think, is going to be really good. On. And this season's going to be really good. Larsa's like as insufferable as ever. Julia has 2 kids now. Like it's interesting.
I try not to comment on somebody's body, but like I just saw a clip of. It was like a clip of Mama Elsa, like Marisol's mom. And she was talking. It was like a dinner party, and she was like yelling at Larsa. And when you see Larsa 10 years ago, it's a jump scare. Like I can't believe it's the same person.
Beautiful. Like I don't understand why she did this to herself.
It is like she is the example of pillow face. Like just, of migrated filler, where now your face is just like it is a totally different.
She's unrecognizable. She's unrecognizable.
It is not the same person at all. Yeah. And like again, don't need to like comment on all these like physical attributes, but it's like it's literally like a head transplant.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, literal different person. And it's and she had like all the money in the world, to be honest. Like she was married to Scottie Pippen, and like
she just didn't need to do that. Like I think she got wrapped up with like being around the Kardashians, and it ended up fucking her.
Yeah, I very much agree.
Yeah. But I'm sad to report that Love Island this season is not good.
I know.
I knew this would happen. I knew that they would like try way too hard, or that the editing would be shit because of how successful last season was. And like, as much as I hate Huda and Jeremiah, and like as much as I want them off my screen, like we must vote Austin off first. Like we cannot lose the plot.
Yeah, I know. I keep accidentally
lose the plot. He's hilarious, but we cannot lose the plot. Also, like I keep saying to Kevin, like Jeremiah doesn't ask Huda anything about her kid, like blah, blah, blah. And then I think to myself, like, okay, they edited Leah last season to look so bad. I'm sure that they are actually having these conversations, and producers are just like maybe either not showing it for her daughter's safety, which I get, but also maybe just like making Jeremiah and Huda look like the toxic couple, because then it makes people keep watching, you know?
No, that's a good point. I mean, like,
but
Nick's reaction though was so sweet. Oh my God, he was so funny. And then it was just very sweet. He's being like, oh, I donated my sperm. So like knowing that I never knew if someone would be okay knowing there's a kid out there from me. And I'm like, it's just so funny.
Yeah.
Not the same thing at all. But it was sweet to try and find that like connection with her.
Yeah.
And like, so he took that so well. And Jeremiah, I think that he didn't get the information presented to him in like a very fair way.
Yeah.
And also I think it's just like not fair to allow everybody to know this information. Like not fair to those people, but if you're trying to make Jeremiah feel like involved and included, like why can't he talk to everybody about it? Now it's like this like private information, and you're going on a show. Like everyone's gonna know you have a fucking daughter.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Also, just the way that she tells people that she's a mom, like, why not just be like, I have a daughter? Why are you saying I'm a mommy? Like, what?
I agree.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old. I also think
that like part of the show, honestly, like this season, I need to probably like stay off social media throughout the season, because people pick every little thing apart. And it drives me actually insane. Like it drives me insane. Like I saw a girl make a video about like Huda's audio quality when the camera's not on her. And I'm like, okay, I fear we need to touch grass. Like it's literally not that serious.
Oh,
like
I am not seeing that.
Can we just watch the fucking show? Like it's so
I'm
annoying.
all for like deconstructing negative behaviors.
No, but like also, why are we psychoanalyzing like bit by bit of like it takes away from it. But that's just me
it makes
not
it,
having
it
to
makes
consume
it less fun. It makes it less fun. I agree. Sure. I think that like if you're having to be like hyper conscious of all of that type of stuff, it just takes you out of the show.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm still gonna watch the season. To remember, of course.
Yeah.
And voting, obviously, tonight. I fear because of how bad it's been, like Austin has somehow become like he makes me laugh. And I'm
Listen,
like,
he's hilarious. Last night he was
he
hilarious,
was
but
so funny.
we can't
No, we
can't
have
stray.
to remember. And also, poor Shelley needs to get out of
I
it with him.
know,
Like,
I
it's gonna be
know.
when she finds out, like,
What
that's gonna be
if what
terrible.
if she's a Trump supporter though, and we're just assuming that she's not? She could very well be as well. Think about it.
I hope to God not.
But
I
it's a
don't,
possibility.
I guess, but I feel like, honestly, statistically, for like a queer Black woman, that is a very low probability
You're
that
right,
she is
but
within that population.
people have surprised us. She could be.
She's a sympathizer or something. I don't know. I think Austin, I would just assume he has no thought about politics. You know,
Yeah.
like he wouldn't give me, I think if I had been in her situation, I wouldn't be like, I mean, I'd probably be trying to figure out somebody's
I
politics,
wonder if they can straight
but
up ask each other, like, what political party are you affiliated with?
I'm sure you could be like maybe not say that, but like why not? You should be
Yeah, why
allowed.
not? Like, who did you
Yeah.
vote for in the last election? Like, I would
Yeah.
ask somebody that if I were dating them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would be like very normal also.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I just like always need to talk about it, but like just
Yeah.
to bring up like normal things or like jokes I make all the time are about like
Yeah.
women's access to abortions. You know, not
Yeah.
like jokes about
No,
it,
I
but
get what
like
you mean. Yeah,
that
yeah.
obviously
It
that's
comes
what
up often. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't
I
know,
did
that's how
go
you
through his
talk.
reposts on TikTok and they are like there is Trump stuff on there, but it's so random. Like it's like random like fan edits of Taylor Swift and then like somebody talking shit about Kamala Harris. Like his reposts are really random, so I don't know if he's just like trolling.
I think he's a stupid 12-year-old in a
Yeah,
lot of
no, I think
ways
so
who
too.
like
Yeah.
really has no developed opinion other than he's a pool boy in Fort Lauderdale and like
Right.
that's probably
Yeah. Yeah.
sure that's probably what he believes, but I don't think he really has thought much about it.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. I
but
agree.
yeah, no, it's been a struggle. I'm hoping that the new guys that just came in
They're
will do
just
something.
Pepe's cute, but the other guy is like
I
not
didn't
cute.
I didn't think he wasn't cute. I thought his kissing was like you were
That
shoving
was
some.
bad.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
I don't think he's cute. And then on top of the kissing, I was like, you're not for me.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
he's gonna be one of those bombshells that like sticks around for an episode or two and then is like
I
voted
just feel like
off.
the core group sucks. Like at this
I
point, I'm like,
know.
Ace, I
Oh my God,
don't
I
like
fucking
you.
hate that
I
guy.
I really wanted to like him, and he's just like now he's just all assholey because he like didn't get a he didn't get like the reaction that he wanted out of Amaya, and then he's just jumping to Shelly, and I don't like him,
Yeah.
and I don't think he can repair that. Taylor is giving nothing.
Nothing.
He's so boring. And like the
Yeah.
girl, like Olandra is so pretty. She's so cool. How are you not making out with her
I know.
all the time? I
I
don't
know.
understand how you
It's
wouldn't.
so weird. It's so weird. I
Like
really don't understand it.
Nick is like the only guy who's like giving interesting just because he's silly.
Right. Austin's hilarious. Unfortunately, a Trump supporter, but is hilarious.
And then
Um,
Jeremiah, I hope to God he breaks up with Huda just because we need some like real good drama now because I want to see
like,
a
and
Huda
no offense,
crash
I don't
out
want to
and
watch a
like
toxic couple every single night
no.
on my screen. That
And
sounds
like even like
miserable.
people were trying to compare like them to Kaylor and Aaron. And
No.
I'm like, it's not the same at all because when you saw Kaylor and Aaron together, it was like always good. They were
Right.
they like the only weird stuff with Aaron was when he was like alone and like the Casa stuff started
Right.
happening.
We're
That
on
was
episode 1 of them like closing off and being the worst.
yeah, it's not interesting.
Yeah.
It's
And I
like
knew it was a matter of time before she would use her telling Jeremiah that she was a mom to manipulate him. Like when she was like, if I didn't have your back, I wouldn't have told you about my daughter. Remember that. And it's like,
yeah.
wait, why are we threatening him? Like,
And the way she
and I'm not a
acts in
Jeremiah sympathizer, but I don't know. She's
no,
being
but like
crazy.
the way she acts in like the challenges and stuff, it's like that
No, the way that she was
this
acting
just
last
makes it
night
not
was
fun.
hideous.
Yeah, it makes
Hideous.
now it's not like fun for anybody to participate. And now he feels like he has to participate in like the making out part of the game, but
Hmm.
like it feels dirty and like borderline non-consensual. Like it feels weird and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
And I don't think he's like a sterling, like great guy himself, based on like the fact that he very much is like, I'm just going to deal with this so that
I can win.
And then he'll complain to the guys and then he's just like, no. Like, we're all good, Huda.
Well, it's crazy because like he says one thing about Huda and I feel like they all take it as like a sign that they can then start talking shit about her. Like all it takes is for him to say one thing and they're like, oh, okay, now we can finally talk shit. Yeah. Also, Huda keeps lying. Like about like, remember they went on that one-on-one and then she came back one-on-one. I'm mixing my Bachelor and my
it's okay. Same
Love
thing.
Island. Yeah. They went on that date at the water park, which honestly I feel like the producers did as a metaphor to show that they're like acting like children, which is I didn't even need a TikTok to tell me that. I did for my own opinion.
You'll make that TikTok. You'll make that one.
But she was like, I could see us living together in the future. And then she came back and told the girls like that he said that. And it's like, girl, movie night is gonna destroy you. Literally destroy you.
I didn't even notice that. Oh my God.
And then when she was like doing the pie or the kiss thing with Ace, she said to Amaya, like, I'd rather kiss you than kiss Ace. And then she went to Ace and she was like, I'd rather pie you than Amaya. Or kiss you than kiss Amaya. Like it was so weird. It was so weird.
Yeah, you're paying attention better than I am. I'm just like so bored by them.
I know.
I think. But yeah,
she's won't stop lying.
Sierra's so great. Weird. A lot of the girls I like, genuinely. Like I like Sierra. I like Shelly.
Sierra
like
didn't even try to flip the coin to kiss Shelly. That was my.
She just wanted. No, it was so good. I loved it. No, that was very fun.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Yeah, no,
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
I just need someone. We need like a Miguel. We need someone to like come in and change lives because or like when Kenny and like looking back, Kenny and Janae's relationship was just so sweet. I loved it so much. Like they weren't like a favorite of mine last season, but like looking back, I've seen clips of him like when he breaks down and like cries to Leah and
so cute.
Yeah, and it's like he didn't want to cry in front of her so that like she didn't like that's so sweet of him. Like
I know. I can't wait for their spinoff.
I know it's gonna be very good.
It's gonna be good.
And I liked all of that cast. Like I'm not mad to see Aaron on my screen again, to be honest.
No, me either. He's good TV.
Yeah. So I'm honestly glad Rob's not.
Yeah, he's busy on the Traders. I mean, I am excited to see Maura though on Traders. That'll be good. I don't know if you watched that season of Love Island. Did you?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah,
she's on it. Isn't that?
That's
why she's not the After Sun host this year.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. No, I think I'm hoping that it turns around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we say this and like literally last night I was like gasping. Like
no, last night was such a good episode.
Jaw on the floor.
It was the best episode thus far, for sure.
So I still will like enjoy it and it'll be fine. I just wish I was like rooting for people more, and I haven't.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about any of the couples.
Yeah, like I haven't figured anyone out that I'm like, oh, I like you.
Yeah,
because I literally can't. Hannah literally last night was like, well, like it'd be dumb to come in here and just like pair up with the first guy, which I don't disagree with. But like they're not. She doesn't care about Charlie. He's like a means to an end for her.
Right.
And it's just you just don't feel dedicated to anyone. So hopefully we get some good bombshells in here, or whatever, because it's struggling.
I agree.
So Selma, I'm wondering what your intentions are for this week.
I have pretty good ones for this week. I have one very important one, and that is that I'm going to continue to raise money for immigration services, both here in Florida and like all across the US. I started a GoFundMe earlier this week because I feel helpless with what's going on in this country. And I think that the best way that I can help, other than like talking about it and advocating for those who have been like systemically targeted for a long time, but really more so we're seeing like horror this week, is to raise money so that people can keep affording to stay here and to hire lawyers and to bond out of detention centers. So my goal is to keep sharing my GoFundMe link, which I will put in our description here so that anybody who wants to can donate. Even $1 counts. And even if you can't donate, which is totally fine, please just like share it. But this week I think we have like almost $400 raised, which is so exciting. And I'm so thankful to everybody who's donated. Sylvia just donated, so very kind of her.
Yay. Yeah. She texted me while we've been recording, asking for the link.
Angel.
So, yeah, no, I'm very proud of you for like starting that, and spreading it around. I mean, obviously the South Florida community is extremely affected by this, but so is everybody else in the country.
Yes.
There isn't, Chicago's real bad. Obviously, LA, New York, everywhere is terrible right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing ice raids in Nebraska. Like, I just really don't think
I just saw, literally, Oklahoma, like you're no one,
right.
In like rural places. So it's a fucking terrible place to be right now for people who are either at risk or not at risk.
Any minority right now, it's been terrible to be in this country. I think it's obviously way worse because we have a literal fucking dictator as the president. So I think, like I said, we have like $365 raised. GoFundMe does take a cut of that, which is super annoying, but I'm just going to donate $400 to cover the cost of the cuts and to like put my donation in for this round. And I'm going to donate to the National Immigrant Justice Center, which is like a group of advocates that provide legal services to everybody around the country who needs it. So like it covers like asylum fee applications and like legal fees and pro bono. And like there's the average cost of like retaining an attorney for one thing for immigration is like $9,000. So
nasty.
So I'm gonna start with the organizations that are like 501c3s that obviously, as we know, had their funding cut by Trump. So that's what I'm.
And if you have like your own personal like GoFundMe or like personal stories or anything like that, like happy to post your things on our Facebook or our Instagram page. Obviously, like we don't have that huge of a reach, but maybe something to try and help people out and get some like mutual aid.
For sure. No, I know I met this girl at a pro-choice rally a few years ago who is like really big in the Miami community, and she has a lot of social media followers, and her and I stayed connected on Instagram. I introduced myself to her at the protest, and I asked her to share it in her on her Instagram, and that got me $50 for the GoFundMe. Awesome. So like literally like any reach we can get, and obviously we'd love to shout out anybody else's efforts that they're doing because everything matters. And in making the GoFundMe, I saw a lot of similar GoFundMes that had like $90,000. So it's like it's great that there's a lot of resources being poured into this because it's pretty fucking dog fire here. Right now, dumpster terrible. Fire. I don't know why I said dog fire. Dumpster fire. I don't want any dogs on fire.
Let's keep the dogs safe.
That's my next GoFundMe.
That's my intention is keep the dogs safe. So my intention, in addition to platforming and sending around the link for your donation, is to actually go out and birdwatch because I selfishly, sorry to like take it away from rules.
No, you literally donated to the fundraiser.
Yes. But I did not successfully birdwatch in the last 2 weeks, so I'll do that. Too busy, but I'm never too busy for the birds. I could just go, I can do that. I can carve out sometimes. For sure. And especially because Brenda was so amazing and like gave us such a wonderful gift of the binoculars. I need to use Dr. Brenda's gift.
We must honor her.
And go and watch those birds.
Yes. Speaking of Brenda, she did successfully defend her thesis or her dissertation this week, and she is officially a doctor, which is pretty fucking cool.
She is. She's so smart. She's so cool. I'm so proud of Brenda. She's like worked incredibly hard for this and finally made it to the other side. So I'm just so proud of you, bestie.
Yes. We love you, Dr. G. We can't believe we can believe it, but a long time coming. We met Brenda literally when she started her PhD.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Love it.
Love it.
So today I'm going to be recapping Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 1, episode 8, Watch What Happens, part 1. So they don't call it reunion part 1. It's a Watch What Happens live, like special event, basically.
Perfect.
So this is part 1. There's 2 parts of this, and then there's a Secrets Revealed episode, but we're covering part 1 today. It can be jumpy and confusing, but strap in, you're going to love it.
Yay, can't wait.
The reunion is in 2 parts, so that's episode 8 and 9, and episode 10, I'm kind of covering, not really mentioning it in like a drive-by type of way, but that was the Secrets Revealed. So we're just trying to like put the whole season in a nice little bow for y'all. And yeah, I did a lot of research. It's weird, these early reunions, they're called the Watch What Happens Live like reunions. So
are they really?
yeah, it's
what the
called
heck?
no, it's called season 1, episode 8, Watch What Happens Part 1. That's the name instead of like reunion part 1. So it's like it's silly because it's this early phase of it. Um, and the ladies actually are all dressed up pretty nice. Like early Atlanta reunion. Have you watched that yet? Okay, they're wearing like jeans. So, it's Atlanta's like came out a year earlier than this, I think. And the first like New York reunion, I'm pretty sure Jill Zarin's wearing jeans and a t-shirt that says Jill Zarin and like bedazzled things on it. So like, and OC I'm sure is the same. But overall, they are like a little bit more formal in this one. So I think it's the beginning of like a formal set and stuff for a Real Housewives reunion. But that being said, it's still very janky. It does not flow well, and the questions are kind of all over the place. And I think Andy's still figuring out how to like do a reunion. So yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna cover today. To start off, I need to set the scene. So obviously we have Andy in the middle. He's sitting in like a very ornate, like all like white throne. And then if you're like looking at the TV on one side, on his left side, he has Teresa Danielle. And then on his right side, he has Dina, Jacqueline, Caroline. So that's like the order: Teresa, Danielle, Andy, Dina, Jackie, Caroline, and they're on
For
separate
those
couches.
who don't watch Housewives often, where you're placed on the couches matters immensely. So Teresa and Dina being first chair is kind of relevant for this season.
Teresa's not first chair. She's farthest away.
Yes. Oh, she like this.
Danielle's closer. Yeah, Danielle's closer to Andy.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think it's super. I mean, it's such a small cast. It feels like it's just like a conversation. Jacqueline barely talks in it. So I think it did matter. It does matter today. I don't think it matters as much. It mattered as much then.
Okay, never mind.
But it's okay. So I also, this set is something I know I've referred to multiple times. It's like ingrained in my head as a set and like what the ladies wear in it because it was just so ridiculous. Like in the other housewife reunions at this point, like Atlanta was in like a theater and New York, I think, was in like a hotel lobby or something. Like it looked like a normal place. This is literally like just a movie set that it's a warehouse that they it's introduced to us with Andy saying, "Hi, we're in the Garden State in an undisclosed location. It's essentially the warehouse district by the railroad track near where the ladies live." Okay.
Okay, and what the fuck?
So it's literally a warehouse. It's all blue, like a bright, like baby blue. The floor are these like massive black and white checkered tiles. The furniture is like all white and very like ornate in like a very New Jersey way. There's this really ugly like yellow floral thing on the coffee table. And then there's 6 different colored chandeliers hanging from like the bottomless blue set out from like a chain just like right behind the ladies. It's like such an ugly set and it makes no sense, but they really do pop in it. And yeah, all of the ladies came wearing their finest. So on one of the couches, I'm gonna go in the order in which like Andy says hello. On one of the couches, we have Dina, who has a gorgeous blowout and is wearing a blue dress, a very thick gold belt, like right under her bust, and a long gold chain. Jacqueline's next to Dina. She is glowing and a cutie pie. She's wearing black, like a black tunic and black leggings, and a long gold chain necklace. She's incredibly pregnant and due in a week.
Oh my God.
So there's a nurse on set for Jacqueline, and Andy's like, "You know what she looks like?" She's like, "Yes." And
so that's crazy. That means that when they stopped filming it was 8-9 months from when they did the reunion to when that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess Jacqueline could have been like pregnant right at the end, but yeah, basically
that's still
in the best case scenario. Yeah.
No, because she was drinking at the dinner.
Oh yeah. Well, she might not have known. You could be pregnant for like
true.
A month
Yeah.
know. But yeah,
yes, I am aware. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, like probably like immediately after got pregnant.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jacqueline jokes that she tried to go into labor earlier to avoid the reunion. Then we jump to Caroline who's next to Jacqueline. So all like the Manzo Larita families on one couch, like just so everyone's aware. Caroline is wearing a hot pink dress with a big black bow that's right under her bust. It's not my favorite dress, but you know, she's rocking it. She has a coordinated pink necklace. It's like glass beads. And then on the other couch, we have Teresa, who's also pregnant, and she's wearing a lot of purple from head to toe, all purple. She has her like very tight gelled ringlet hair. She's looking great. And she tells Andy that she's due in September. I looked it up. The reunion was filmed in early June 2009. So that means that Teresa is about 6 months pregnant. And Adriana is born like September 14th, 2009. So
okay.
That kind of sets the stage for when she's how far along she is. And then finally, we see Danielle, who is dressed like a bombshell. She's in red. It's a low-cut V showing off her boobs. Her leg, like, it's kind of shorter, so her legs look great on the couch. Her eye makeup and eyebrows are very accentuated. She looks like a hot comic book villain, and I mean that in a nice way. And her hair is definitely longer. And she tells Andy that she has extensions. Now that put a pin in that, but that's incredibly
so important.
It's incredibly important for the next season.
So important.
Danielle Staub wears extensions. It's gonna be a whole thing. So remember that. But yeah, she's looking great. Andy is just kind of opening up by talking about how like the New York Times made a comment about how this show is preposterous, but it's the most real of all the franchises. And Dina saying that it's because they're not forced. Like these ladies, they're mostly family. So,
yeah,
they all would be around each other anyway. So these are authentic interactions for them. And I do agree with that. Like, I think that's what a lot of today's franchises are missing because they try to just like cast people instead of like finding a group cohesion. I think Salt Lake is different. Like I think they did like an open casting call basically for Salt Lake, but
everybody's just fucking cousins there, so
yeah, so like they all know each other. Yeah. But I think that like New York struggled because it was like you were just casting randoms. Personalities, not like relationships or families.
Yeah. I think they're kind of all that way.
Yeah,
in a way. You know, I think Jersey is unique because we have like families on the show.
But Beverly Hills was so good because I mean Lisa Vanderpump was like family to Kyle.
Right.
Kyle's sister was on it.
Oh, true. The early seasons.
Yeah,
right.
Right. Yeah. Like so that was like early.
Kathy Hilton.
Yeah. Like and I think that just like having those just long-term dynamics work really well for these shows instead of just like, oh yeah, I met her in my yoga class. So now, she's really smart and owns a business. And it's like, it's just very inauthentic.
Yeah, I agree.
Relationships to me. But yeah, overall, that's just kind of set the scene. So hopefully you see what I saw in your own head.
If not, go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a confusing reunion in the sense that it just jumps chronologically and thematically all over the place. So literally
similar to the season.
Yes. So first thing we jump in with is the last thing we saw in the last episode. So we are jumping in immediately into the finale dinner. So we rewatched that scene of Danielle confronting everybody with the book. And that reminded me, I meant to mention this on your episode last week. But it was like crazy. We didn't mention this, but the Bravo producers were under the table handing the book to Danielle, so that she could like place it on the table. And I just think that I saw that documentary and it like told me that and like contextualizes that moment for you a little bit.
I knew that, but I forgot.
Yeah.
And it makes sense if you watch the episode back because she doesn't walk in with the book.
Yeah. No,
so that's nuts.
No, I think it's crazy and it just showed really good production of that moment. So the whole time they're showing the scene, Caroline's making faces like she's in pain. And Jackie is trying to have no reaction, but her nostrils are flaring. when Teresa's asked about like why she got to where she was at, she said she flipped the table because she was pissed and upset about how Dina was being treated. And then when Danielle said like that word, suddenly Teresa like didn't even know what she was doing or what happened, and she'd never done that before. So she basically just like saw red and like forgot everything else. Which, yeah, like you said last time, identifying triggers.
Yep.
She also makes sure to let us know that Joe was in fact turned on by it.
Like, I knew it.
Could make it home. Yeah. She was like, that was a wild night when we got home.
That's literally probably when Adriana was conceived.
No, literally. Like something like that. It was apparently a crazy night for them.
Yeah.
And then the rest of what they talk about right now is about the children being in the room and, you know, whether they should have or should have not been. So Teresa's daughters and Lexi are the ones who left the room. Dina, Teresa, and Caroline say that it was inappropriate for the book to be brought out when children were there. I don't disagree with that. But Danielle says that she thought that honestly, with children being in the room, it would have kept people like in line. Like people would have like acted better.
Normal.
And like also Danielle's children, I can understand Danielle's children staying in the room because they already have to know about all of this.
Right.
So it's not something that they're Teresa's kids are tiny, so I get it.
Yeah,
they're very young.
Also they had a babysitter with them, so it's like
and they're just like, this shouldn't have been brought up around the children. It's like, but Caroline, you just said you have adult children, you don't care if they know these things. So I don't know. It kind of feels like a little bit of a gang up on Danielle moment when I really feel like she was kind of the one that was being ganged up on in this moment. And Danielle, she really didn't think that like what she was saying was bad, even though the content of the book was bad, but she like wasn't saying any of those things necessarily.
I wonder like if do the girls know that there was a producer handing her the book?
I don't know.
Because it's almost like justice for Danielle, because if she didn't go there with that intention, that's like the producers like planting a story almost, you know?
I mean, Danielle went there with the intention. She says that she was intending on bringing it up and like talking about all of it. She wasn't intending for it. She thought you could have a conversation. I'm not sure you could have ever thought this wasn't going to get like heated, like knowing the ladies. But I also think that it needed to be spoken about for like production value, for the show to be interesting. Sure. Like there needed to be a confrontation. And I feel like Danielle wasn't going to get any other opportunity to like voice her piece on like her own story because the ladies had totally iced her out. Yeah. So like this was her final opportunity to talk about all of this. And Caroline's like, well, we would have like come over and hashed it out if we were asked. And I just don't believe that. I just don't think that. I think they were like, no, we know what you are. We don't want to be associated. So I think it made very entertaining television. Wasn't necessarily the healthiest for kids involved. Probably not. No. But yeah. So yeah, it was overall though, the temperature was like in the room was very chill. People were not like overheated just talking about this segment. And it felt very unfinished. But that's because the rest of this conversation will be picked up in episode 2 of the reunion. Okay, so next we jump just very suddenly to talking about bubbies. Yep. The entire segment is just about Teresa and her boobs and just bubbies in general. And we do get an answer from Dina about whether or not she'll get a reduction. And she says that she will because it's like impeding on her life. She kind of feels like, she's like, they're so big. I feel like they're inappropriate and I can't wear things that I want. So just like, as a mom, I just like want them to be reduced. Yeah. Because they're tacky and too much. And Dina said that. And so this kind of opens up the door to talking about Tommy Manzo, Dina's husband, a little bit, which we'll dive into more later. And Dina just says that Tommy didn't want to be on the show because their relationship is private and they don't get a lot of time for it. So like, it's not her having a bad relationship. It's just because their relationship's their own. Okay. All right. So that's put a pin in that because we'll go back to it later. Yeah. Next segment, we just jump to we're starting to just talk about the ladies' lives. So Teresa, it's kind of a recap of her whole season arc and like being a mom and being an entertaining airhead and, you know, all of her crazy comments about money and other people's houses. And yeah, thankfully we get an answer that Gia in fact did want to model and act. Apparently the audience thought the same thing as us, that she had no interest in it, but
okay, good to know.
Did want to. And then honestly, I was going to skip this segment, but Jill Zarin tweeted at Teresa apparently, and she says that Teresa overindulges her children, and that she's creating spoiled children. And I just like need to point out the hypocrisy of that, in that you are raising, Jill Zarin was actively raising a daughter in New York City, sent her daughter to fat camp and like had that on television.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you're gonna sit there and like criticize someone's mothering capabilities. Like that's
it's
insane.
wild.
Yeah. So I just thought that was a very, yes, Teresa's kids are overindulged, but like, let's not throw stones when we live in glass houses type of moment, you know?
Pot kettle, babe. Pot kettle.
Yeah. So next we jump to Jacqueline, and we get a little bit more information about her pregnancy. She says she's having a boy and his name is Nicholas. She's just smiling and giddy and just so happy.
Yeah.
We get a recap of her story this past season, and a lot of it is like her and Ashley fighting.
Yeah.
And I just like, I don't know, Ashley like didn't really show that many bad behaviors to us. So I'm like wondering if stuff was happening off camera that like,
for sure.
you know what I mean? Like maybe she was like drinking a lot off camera. Like this is just like conjecture.
I mean,
but like
maybe her dad also didn't want her on camera a lot, you know?
Maybe. Yeah. I just didn't feel like Ashley was that bad this season. You know what I mean?
No, but we know that she is bad.
We know that she is.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that much bad. So I'm just like curious as to like maybe what else was going on. So in addition to seeing the Ashley stuff, we see a recap of Jacqueline's fertility journey. And then her on the couch, she's just like sobbing after seeing all of these scenes with her fertility doctors, and Carolyn and Dina are just like fussing over her, getting tissues, trying to like help her. It's very much like, you don't have to be sad. And I'm just like, that's just so,
I know,
just trying to, not the right way of dealing with it.
Just so European.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like not the greatest, but I'm glad they're being supportive of her. I think it was good. And Jacqueline says that she's the type of person who, when things are happening to her, she needs to talk about it. So she didn't really feel scared or reserved from like sharing her fertility journey with the TV, because on
the
TV,
audience. Yeah.
Because she got like reached out to by a lot of people. It made her feel good. People would share their stories about infertility with her. And it really just like helped her on this journey and made her feel more seen and like part of a community.
It's great.
And it also made her hopeful, because like people would say like, well, I struggled for years and had like X number of miscarriages and I have a baby now. So I thought it was very sweet. And yeah, that is like one of the hardest things to really allow people to see in your life. Yeah, so that's Jacqueline and her fertility journey. And yeah, there's a little moment in this scene where Dina says that her and Jacqueline have matching tattoos.
Okay.
And they've gotten piercings together, and I just wanted us to wildly guess either where they've gotten pierced together, or what like, you know, like tattoo they would have gotten together, like the same tattoo.
I think that Jackie's tattoo is probably on like the inner corner of her ankle, like the inner.
Very much agree. Yeah.
Right by her ankle. And it's like a little bird or something.
Okay. I was thinking like a little bow.
Okay.
Like I feel like her and Dina would definitely get like little bows, because they're like, cute. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like that's cute. And just like a little something there.
And then for piercing, I think maybe like a cartilage. Nothing serious.
Honestly, they might have just gotten like their second.
Yeah.
They might have just gotten their second. Yeah. Obviously, like no, unless if they were crazy and like got their nipples pierced or something. Yeah, I was gonna say clit and then I didn't say it. Yeah. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Inner ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after we get little Jacqueline's thing, we transition to talking specifically about Jacqueline and Danielle's friendship. And we look back on all those clips, and we find out that Jackie had been in the family for 10 years before Danielle came along, and she's only been friends with Danielle for 1 year.
What?
Yeah.
Danielle said 6 years.
No. Later in the episode, it said like that you guys have been friends for 1 year.
Wait, that's actually crazy, because Danielle literally said that they had been friends for 6 years.
No,
like, I recap that episode.
Like command effing my.
No, I believe you. That's just
no,
crazy.
I'm fact checking myself. Yeah, Danielle and Jackie had only been friends for a year before shooting.
Okay, that's wild because if you remember, Danielle literally said that Jackie was there for her when she had gotten divorced like 3 years prior. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I think I don't like Danielle doesn't say anything to that comment during this episode. And I'm like, because that recontextualizes the entire season.
Right.
But
That's
then I also
so
think about it
weird.
and I'm like, you and I got attached to each other really soon.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
that was 5
possible.
years ago. That
No,
was
I know,
four
but
years
like,
ago. No, that was 5 years ago.
it was 5 years ago, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
I know.
But I don't know. I
Wait,
feel
that's
like,
actually so funny because we got attached and then we got tattoos.
yeah.
We're literally Dina
But like
and
we got tattoos like within a year of friendship. Like,
and they're
you know what
not
I mean?
matching. They were
Right.
just
No.
$13.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Oh my God, it's Friday the 13th today.
It is.
I just was thinking, I don't know, like you can fall hard for a friend, so maybe that's it.
We're living proof.
But I don't know, that was a
Weird.
crazy like difference,
Weird. It's
right? So
giving
like
Huda lying.
I can very much understand like family being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
When like that's actually the timeline.
So weird.
Yeah.
Such a weird thing to lie about, but okay.
So this whole scene's very much about like how Dina and Caroline think that Danielle's the straw that broke the camel's back for like sisters stopping talking to Jackie and like all of those issues. Danielle is very like adamant that she can't be the sole reason why Chris, Jackie's husband, and Caroline and Dina's brother is no longer close with Dina. And Jackie kind of agrees with that. So there's something else that went down that we're not privy to that like explains Chris having some sort of distance. And we were told that like Chris and Dina were like incredibly, incredibly close. I think they're two of the younger ones of the Loritas. So they like grew up very close.
Yeah.
Andy's really not doing a great job at getting an answer out of the ladies at this point, and they're all just evading. And Jackie's just like very much avoiding further, like talking further about this issue. You can just tell that like she doesn't want to talk about it, and the ladies are confusing and have their opinions, and Andy's not good at it. But yeah, for some reason I'm believing that there was definitely something else that happened that caused this like
there was so much time.
Danielle. Yeah. I think like honestly Danielle just has a really bad reputation. So then like there was like an assumption that she was bad.
Partially because of her own wrongdoings.
Sure. No, for sure. And I think but I think like there must be like something else.
For sure.
Why would Chris, who's like barely involved, like stop talking to Dina?
Yeah.
So, hard jump from talking about their relationship to Joe Guidice being homophobic.
Oh my God, wait, this is so funny. So Kevin and I went to a salsa dancing class this week, and we literally were like trying to recreate the salsa class.
Oh my God.
Like Kevin was like, okay, do I be homophobic now or later? Like, and it was funny because like we literally like
when do I
say gay? We were like literally switching partners. Like it literally was. I even asked the dance teacher, like, have you ever seen Real Housewives of New Jersey? Because there is a scene that's exactly this.
Did they? Had they seen it?
No, she hadn't seen it.
So we get a recap of their dancing, and when Joe Guidice starts saying gay and gaylord and being incredibly homophobic and disrespectful at the dance studio. And Danielle says that the reason it was so hurtful for her personally and why she reacted is because that a gay man's her best friend and she doesn't have family, but he's her family. So it just affected her a lot. And Teresa tries starting to explain that like gay is a figure of speech, but she won't say gay.
Right.
She's like, it's just a figure of speech. It's just a figure of speech. It's a Jersey thing. It's a Jersey thing. Jersey thing. And Teresa says that Joe grew up around a lot of gay people and he loves them, and says Danielle's just drama. Danielle's just drama. Caroline says that she has a gay brother and Joe embraces her brother. And in that moment, he was just being a stupid 12-year-old boy. And Andy at this point jumps in and he's like, okay. As a gay man, I found that incredibly offensive.
Right.
And I don't think Joe is homophobic, but I do think that it was a very offensive statement.
Yeah.
And Teresa, instead of being like, oh, I totally understand that, is like, Andy, listen, the night that episode came out, we had a gay man over.
It doesn't make it okay. It's giving like, my best friend is black.
No, and she's like, and he was laughing and thought that anyone offended was stupid.
Okay, so now she's calling Andy.
Like, okay, stupid. So you just call. No, they say that. They're like, oh, so he goes, oh, so you're calling me stupid. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this is such a hostile. I can't believe that. Like in 2025, I don't think that she would have stayed on screen after that type of,
no,
or at least he wouldn't have, or there would have had been some sort of like, yeah, it's a
for
very
sure,
odd, because yeah, it's a very odd moment.
Yeah.
Especially with like pushing back about that with Andy and stuff.
Right. Why is she arguing?
Instead of just saying like, yes, he learned, he's sorry.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Instead of being like, you're stupid if you're offended. A gay person wasn't offended and said that you're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dina says maybe it was a learning experience. Teresa she says like, I apologize for my husband. He wasn't happy with himself. After she calls Andy stupid. And then Teresa's like, but Danielle made it a whole thing, and I can't even tell you how many times Steve has called my husband gay.
Okay.
Bringing it to the fucking elderly 26-year-old construction worker that Joe Guidice is friends with.
Right.
Apparently, yeah, she's definitely trying to like bring up some sort of double standard for Danielle, as if, she must have heard Steve say gay a million times and now she has a problem with it. And I just like don't agree with that.
Right.
And it was just so weird. Yeah. Teresa keeps trying to throw Danielle under the bus. Like she's dramatic. She's acting like she cares about this issue when she doesn't. And I just don't agree with that. But yeah. So next we jump back to Jackie. And specifically we're talking about Jackie and Caroline's relationship. I don't know why we just like jumped to this randomly, and it's so weird. But basically a blog post said that Caroline walks all over Jackie, and Jackie disagrees because she has punched Caroline before. And we're
weird
like,
flex, but okay.
Okay. So they tell the whole story. I'm shocked about this, and they're like laughing. They think it's so funny. After Jackie gave birth to her son CJ, she was depressed. She needed to get out of the house. Like she was just very overwhelmed with like taking care of her kids, and Chris wasn't helping at all. So she wanted to leave her baby with Chris, and she literally just went and sat at a Starbucks and made herself stay there. She was like, I'm not going home. I'm going to stay. He has to take care of his own child. And so when she came home, she finds out that Chris had called Dina to babysit. And somehow that turns into a fight between Jackie and Caroline. And Caroline says to Jackie, what kind of mother are you to leave your son with his father? What?
Oh my God.
What the fuck? I like insane.
God forbid a man takes care of his child.
God forbid. Oh my God. How dare you leave a man with his child? What kind of mother are you? What?
Terrible. What kind of person are you, Caroline? Actually, let's actually flip it back.
No, that's like an insane comment of Carol. And they're like, and Jackie was like, I just popped off and I hit her. And I was like, you know what? Fair
Valid.
enough. Honestly, like the whole story, it very much explains why the fuck you punched her.
Yeah.
They say it was a little bit more of a slap, but then they say punch, but whatever. And Caroline's, so her. I don't mess with her.
Yeah.
All right.
Valid.
Fair enough. Yeah, so that was just like a very random weird thing. I think it was just brought up to lead us into the next segment, which is Caroline life. And basically she's just getting called out for her family dynamic and how they treat Lauren. Because of like them calling Lauren stupid. Caroline's like, it's just a joke, and it's done in jest, and it's just it's the way her family communicates. It's banter. She also justifies babying her sons because she's in a tough transition while they're leaving her, so she'll do whatever. And yeah, she says she can't tell her child as a man what to do, which again just like goes back to you can't expect a man to watch his child.
Obsessed with men, this woman.
Yeah. And weirdly Danielle steps in and she was like, if I had a son, that's how you should raise them. They need to be raised to expect to be taken care of and have their clothes picked out, and that her daughters need to know how to run a house, cook, and clean.
No.
And I'm like,
I think she's just saying this because she can feel that she's like being left behind by them. So I think she's just doing like self-deprecation, I guess, or self-preservation in the form of like being sexist.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, she says she did that for her marriage. But like, clearly
look how well that turned out.
And he was a piece of shit. So
right.
Like my sister in Christ, what are we doing? But whatever. So this leads us into the last part of the reunion part 1 that was really fucking all over the place. But now, honey, sit in. I've got to sit down, grab a box of popcorn. I am going to tell us a story. Okay.
Okay.
So the end of episode of the reunion part 1, the end of reunion part 1, Dina and Caroline are asked about the Manzo family mob connection.
Oh, baby, I'm excited for this. Yeah, I'm excited for
So
this.
basically, it starts off as like, why is there an assumption of like New Jersey ladies being a part of the mob? And Dina's like, it's just so offensive. And it's just because we're from New Jersey that people think they're mobbed up. If it was Tamra in OC and she's yelling and freaking out and she's fighting on camera, nobody says that she's affiliated. But because it's New Jersey Italian ladies, of course they're mobbed up. And so then specifically, right. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I can see that. Specifically, Caroline is asked about her father-in-law's death, Albert Manzo's father.
Right.
Okay.
I remember this.
Yes. So Caroline recounts that death for us. Albie, her husband, she calls him Albie. Her husband was 23. Caroline was 22. Her father-in-law was killed on her birthday. Albie had to leave at 4 a.m. to be questioned by police. And he came back apologizing to Caroline. And he came with like a diamond and ruby ring shaped as a birthday cake. And was like trying to, yes. I know. Hold on. I gotta get through the murder.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
So, and then like 6 months later, they get engaged and soon after married. And that is like the story that like the backdrop of their love story is him giving her this birthday cake shaped diamond ring on the day of his father's murder. Unfortunately, the ring no longer exists because her house was broken into 15 years ago and it was stolen. Okay. Caroline says that what really upset her about all these rumors and gossip coming out was that a lot of the family, the younger kids and stuff, didn't know about what happened to her father-in-law. His name's Albert Tiny Manzo, by the way. And she says, Albert Tiny Manzo was a wonderful man. He was a wonderful man. Okay, he died when she was 22. I doubt she knew him that well, but whatever. Sorry, that's so mean. Not speaking ill of the dead.
No, I don't care. When did become speaking ill of the dead become an issue?
So right. I'll speak ill of the living. Why can't I speak ill of the dead?
Like, just because they're dead doesn't absolve them of being assholes.
Absolutely. You're so right. I rescind. So at this point, Dina's crying. Like, she doesn't want this to be being spoken about at all. Remember, Dina and Caroline are married to Manzos.
Yes.
She's asking Caroline to stop about it. And she says, what's hurtful is the grandchildren didn't know the story. And I was like, I need to know more about this Manzo fucking mob connection, okay? And thank God for Reddit, honestly. This was that, and you know what? I decided we're going to cover the whole mob connection for this one.
Of course, why wouldn't we?
And this means the Manzo family is deeply connected with 3 major Italian mob crime families.
Oh man,
3 of them, like all the East Coast ones, like they have
they cover the Eastern Seaboard.
Yeah, no, all the way.
You know, the only reason I know about Eastern Seaboard is because of Monsters.
Never thought about those words before. As a West Coast girly, never thought about the East.
Never, barely thought about the West.
Definitely not the Seaboard. Okay, so this is like a rundown. I did a lot of research on this of their mob connections,
so you can.
And I'm gonna include stuff that we've been alluding to this whole season because I just think it fits all right now. So, what the news says, this isn't what Caroline says. This is what like news and like reports say. Albert Tiny Manzo was found executed mob style, whatever that means, and naked, stuffed into the back of his Lincoln Continental in like 1983. Allegedly, Tiny, he's called Tiny because he was a 450-pound man.
Whoa.
And yeah, so it's like whatever, a joke. Allegedly Tiny, it's a lot to be stuffed into the back of a trunk naked.
Yeah.
Allegedly Tiny was an enforcer, and I think you can probably guess what that means, for the Genovese crime family. He was supposedly killed as revenge for humiliating someone from the Gambino crime family and skimming money off of the top of a casino that guy that he was humiliating ran.
Okay.
That is just the tip of the iceberg for the connections with this family. According to some random like person online, okay, so don't necessarily believe this. I'm saying allegedly all this because I don't want to get in trouble, even though like our 20 listeners aren't going to report me, but whatever.
You never know.
So Albert, Caroline's husband, didn't want the family to be on the show because it caused like too much attention and heat on the family. And Al had a guma living in the apartment above the Brownstone Catering Hall. Do you know what a guma is?
What the fuck is a guma?
A mistress.
Caroline's husband
had a mistress. I say guma because of Sopranos, and my family's definitely never said that before.
No way.
Yeah. Living in the apartment above the Brownstone Catering Hall. Okay. So, and initially, apparently Caroline, because Albert didn't want them to be on the show. Caroline wasn't even supposed to be on the show. It was supposed to be Dolores, but she ended up backing out.
No
and so
way.
Jacqueline encouraged Caroline to join.
Wow.
So that's just like, that's like old roots, right? Like that's like the 80s talking about Albert. So maybe it's like, okay, maybe they didn't bring that into the next generation of the family. Maybe that's the past and they don't want to have anything to do with it. And I understand that, like trying to distance yourself. That is not their past. Their very much recent future is deeply entrenched with current Italian mob, like the East Coast families. In 2016, Lauren's future husband, Lauren Manzo, her future husband's Vito. Vito's relative, Matthew Genovese, whatever, the Genovese. Genovese.
Yeah.
Matthew Genovese went missing in Hoboken, New Jersey. Remember, Genovese is one of the crime families. Okay, right. That's the crime family that her grandfather was an enforcer for. So, like, I'm assuming this is the same fucking family. And so she's marrying within that goddamn family, basically. So Matthew Genovese goes missing and Caroline sending out tweets to be like, hey, has anybody seen this kid? He's like 24 years old. He's like a Wall Street broker or something. 2 days later, his body is found floating in the Hudson River.
Oh my God. SVU
He was
style.
on his way home and it was like, yeah, he was on his way home. He seemed totally fine. It was just like he went missing. Okay. And it's just, there's too many connections. I'm not saying they did it. I'm just saying too many connections. And so now we have Gambino, the ones that the Manzos fucked over, Genovese, which is the ones the Manzos were a part of. And now we're going to talk about the Lucchese family. Lucchese? Something like that. Lucchese? Whatever.
Both sound good.
I only know how to say my Italian last name. So as we've been alluding to this whole season, Dina's ex-husband, Tommy Manzo, was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Was very unhappy with the divorce from her. And I think recently Lexi in an interview recently said to Gia that when her and Dina were leaving the house, like they were given like 10 minutes to grab a bag and what you need and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Tommy's a scary guy.
Yeah.
So in 2017, Dina was engaged to a new man named David Canton. They're seemingly happy. They were moving on, living in California. When she got home from Adriana Giudice's first communion, she was flying home from New Jersey.
She's the godmother.
Because she's the godmother. When she gets home, her and David are jumped in their own home. They're zip-tied and beaten with a baseball bat. Her engagement ring, that money doesn't really matter at this point, but it was like, I mean, it does. It was $60,000 and like some cash in their house is missing. And the guy that's beating them is saying, this is what you get when you fuck with people from Patterson while beating them. Okay. Come to find out, this guy, his name is John Perna. He is from Patterson and he has can I say alleged just because it's okay. Fucking been convicted.
Yeah.
And the FBI says that
you have to say alleged for this case.
Connections with the Lucchese family that Tommy Manzo had hired to jump Dina's fiance. I don't know if the intention was for Dina to also get injured in it, but the intention was for the fiance to get really fucking injured. And Dina was obviously collateral damage in that. So Tommy's payment for this guy was, get this, hosting Perna's lavish wedding reception at the brownstone. The wedding was 330 people, and many of the members of the attendees were members of the Lucchese crime family. Tommy tried to conceal paperwork about the wedding afterwards to when he received a subpoena for like a grand jury. So he tried to like literally like burn all the papers that were associated with his association with this family.
Yeah.
So in the end, John Perna was sentenced to 30 months in prison for planning and carrying out an aggravated assault. Tommy Manzo was sentenced to 86 months in prison for one count of committing a violent crime in aid of racketeering, which is the mob part of it, like the organized crime part of it.
Yeah.
One count of conspiracy to commit a violent crime in aid of racketeering, again, crime family. And one count of falsifying and concealing documents related to a federal investigation. So 86 months, around like 7 years, and he'll also have to serve or have 3 years of supervised release after, which is like parole after completing his sentence.
Wait, so is he out?
No, he was sentenced in October of 2024.
Oh, so he was just sentenced.
He was just sentenced.
Wait, that's when I got engaged.
Yeah, that's right. No, it literally happened in 2015. He did not get sentenced until 9 years later in 2024. Wow. And he is going to serve, and he was on like, he wasn't like locked up at all. So I doubt he got any time towards it.
Yeah.
He is going to have to serve like close to 7 years plus the 3 years of probation.
Yeah.
And yeah, reading all of that, I mean, I'm very sad for Dina, and I'm very happy she's finding peace and is away from that world. I think it just really made it so ridiculous that Caroline is trying to act like she has no idea about any sort of connection with her family and organized crime.
Well, the gag is also like what we were talking about. I don't know if it was the last episode or the episode before that, but through all of this, Caroline wrote a letter of support for Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we got into the specifics about that, but she literally like.
Yeah, we didn't get into the specifics of it because we hadn't talked about the case, but like, I was like, we just need to, like, this is all like so crime family affiliated. Like, I'm just gonna lay it all out, including what happened to Dina.
Yeah.
Because she's actively like still married to Tommy during this reunion. She's married for another 3 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the type of family that they married into, and it seems like Dina had to get out.
Of course.
And identified it as like not a good place, and Caroline was deeply entrenched in it. And
so much that she wrote a fucking letter of support for him in 7 months ago? That's nuts. 8 months ago?
Yeah, I don't know.
9 months ago, yeah.
So I just like to kind of, as a summation of all that crime mob shit.
Yeah.
The Manzo family is connected with 3 families, and it's so ridiculous for Caroline to act all high and mighty. I feel like maybe that's why like a lot of people give her deference, because she has like some sort of like clout within that community. I'm sympathetic to the fact that kids in the family found out about this connection through leaked info online being upsetting. Yeah. I get that. But also, like, this isn't something that she thought about when she was bringing up the book and Danielle's past and everything. And honestly, that's not any, like, in what ways is that, like, you know, not the same? Or what am I starting to say? In what ways is that different? You know, like, Danielle is upset for this being brought up, and Caroline is upset for this being brought up. And it's because of criminal behavior in your family that like people have been convicted and sent to prison for. Right. So if Caroline didn't fucking want stuff to come up about her, she probably should have thought about that with like bringing up stuff about Danielle. And I think that that's like very two-faced of her, but she thinks she's very high and mighty and that people should talk shit about her and her little crime family. So yeah, I just thought that was all crazy, and the Redditors were doing the Lord's work.
And also that is all supported by case like court filings.
Oh yeah. So with all of those mob connections, that's going to be the end of the reunion Watch What Happens part 1. And there's so much more that comes in part 2. I really enjoyed doing the research for this, and yeah, there's going to be more that comes in part 2. I'm going to cover that one too. So yeah.
Nuts, Maggie. That was amazing. The crime family lore was insane. I
Yeah.
cannot believe that. Insane. I think that it's weird that they structured these reunions into, I mean, they do this. They do it as part one, part two, part three. Like
Yeah.
some franchises get 2 parts, some get 3 parts. And I think they definitely could have probably put this all into one part, like
Yeah,
for the
it
first
definitely
season
will be
especially.
confusing for the second episode because we jump back to the dinner
Yeah.
randomly. So
Yeah.
it will feel jumpy, but it's
But
still gonna be great.
no, but you did
It's
a great
fine.
job. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
It's jumpy because
they are
I'm jumpy
jumpy.
because they're jumpy.
Right,
But yeah,
right.
yeah. Overall, I think it was great. Selma, I have a question for you.
Tell me.
Do you want to go dumpster diving?
Always and only with you ever for the rest of our lives.
What's in the garbage?
Whose trash are we digging through tonight?
So I've decided, just in homage to the Manzo crime family, we're gonna go jumping in, we're gonna go dumpster diving in Albert Tiny Manzo's dumpster. And I think that could be a really scary place to be.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. I'm not gonna say anything too awful. No, I think that that could be interesting. And yeah, this is a very fun part of the New Jersey
It is.
like lore.
It
So
is.
yeah, things that I think are going to be in Tiny's dumpster. So there's definitely going to be like a bunch of like discarded weaponry. I don't know. Like whatever.
You don't think he'd throw it in the Hudson?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a better place that it would be. Okay, you're
Say
right.
that, yeah.
There's a reason why he was an enforcer. Okay, okay.
Right.
But like maybe like the boxes that bullets come in.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I'm not part of these. Maybe that's where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I think that there's definitely some like money laundering things. Maybe like a bunch of like ripped up tax paper and like similar to what like Joe Giudice was doing with like just very much existing within your own economy and not like paying your taxes.
Yeah.
I think that that's definitely in his garbage.
Garbage.
I also think maybe hit the diamond and ruby ring that was gifted to Caroline. It just accidentally ended up in the garbage. Or
Yeah.
maybe it was in the garbage because Tiny realized how ugly it was, and Albert Manzo, when he found out his dad was dead, went dumpster diving himself to retrieve said
plot twist.
Yeah, yeah. So we got multiple garbage dives in this.
I would love to see what that ring looks like because that sounds like the most hideous ring I've ever seen in my life.
Sounds like something you'd get at Claire's that's like all fake, but I don't know.
A freebie gift on your birthday that
like you'd get it at the Old Navy, like you put a coin in. And like,
that's what I was thinking. It comes in that pop little ball.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I think is in the garbage.
That's good. Yeah.
What do you think is in Tiny's garbage?
I think in Tiny's garbage is definitely like a slew of big and tall receipts. Because to be 450 pounds, you have to shop somewhere special. Like there's no way that you're popping into Walmart and getting a 2X. Like that's gonna be a crop top on him. Is that fat phobic?
I don't know.
Okay. If you're offended, sorry. I also think in his garbage is definitely like a lot of the end of like cigar butts, like just so many cigar butts. Because you know that guy probably was not healthy at all.
Oh no.
And then also I think in his garbage, I honestly feel like these like Italian mobsters really pride themselves in like being a pet owner. So I feel like there's probably like a lot of dog food bags in his garbage. Like, you know how they love having like big dogs?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I just feel like he probably was like a dedicated pet owner.
Also, just to like justify my throwing your like weaponry in the garbage, I'm fixated on it. I feel like the Italian mob would own the garbage companies.
Valid.
So, yes, you know, you can throw whatever you want in the garbage. You're going to be fine. You can throw the silencer in there. Nobody's going to arrest you. No one's going to report it. You own them. So,
you're right. That's a good point.
There we go. That's my I love what your answers were, but I was fixating on my wrong answer.
Maggie has no idea what I just said that was in the garbage because she was so focused on thinking on how to redeem herself.
No, dog food, cigar butts, and big ass receipt clothes thing.
Big and tall.
Yeah. So yeah.
No.
Thank you for diving in this dumpster with me.
Thanks for inviting me in. It's always a good time.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I enjoyed telling it, and I can't wait to continue telling it in the next episode.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode. Maggie, like she said, is going to recap the second part of the reunion for our next episode, and it's going to be amazing. So we'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
We post a full video podcast on our YouTube channel at Real Girls of Gapping. Stay in touch with us on Instagram and TikTok at Real Girls of Gapping. For media and partnership inquiries, reach out to us at realgirlsofgabbing@gmail.com. We can't wait to gab with you.